Yeah, hello, welcome back. Now more on the data wrangling. This time you are going to use a package called the dplr from the Tidyverse. So you can either just install the dplr or you can install the Tidyverse, which has the dplr package as well. So with that, let's look at it. So again, on the I have the R codes available, so you can just copy and paste the R codes, and then once you copy and paste, you'll be able to follow along. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, you have to be able to, if you have not installed the dplr package already, you have to install the dplr package and then you have to load the package. Okay. Like I said, you can just install the Tidyverse package and load it, and then you should be able to make use of the dplr package. So we are actually going to use an inbuilt data called the empty cars. Okay. So we call the data, and then we can actually look at the head of the data just to see. So we have this data, and there's the head of the data, which is giving us the first 6 observation of the data set. Okay. Yeah. So now we might want to actually select some columns from the data. You know, there are times in which you will be performing an analysis and you don't need every variable in the data set. So you would want to select a specific variable in the data set, in other words, some specific column from the data set for your analysis. Okay. So you can use the dplr, which we are, remember our data, we name it what? Data. Okay. So we are, regarding the selected data, we are actually going to name it selected data. And then we'll go into our data, again, using this percentage sign greater than and percentage sign, allow us to go into the data and then use the select function, which is a function in the, which is a function we can actually use, and then we can select the individual columns we actually want to select from the data set. So we are selecting the mpg, the cylinder, and then the horsepower, which is the HP. Okay. So we can actually go ahead and run it. So once we have run it, we can actually look at the head of the HP. Okay. So there's the head of the HP. You can now see that regarding the selected data. Okay. The head of the selected data, sorry. Regarding the selected data, we selected MPG, the cylinder, and then the HP. Now you can see that now in the selected data, we have only 3 of those columns, right? And then also you can filter out your data, right? Maybe you might want to filter out the data to only include certain specific row in the data set, okay? So for instance, within the data we have, which is the empty cars data, we might want to actually, we only need data for cylinders equal 6, okay? When the cylinder is 6, we only need that. So we are naming that new data, we are calling it filter data, but you can call it anything, filtered data. So again, we go into our data set, and then we use the filter function, which is part of the function within the dplr. And then you can now say cylinder equal 5, okay? Sorry, cylinder equals 6. And that is going to actually give us all the data, all observation or rows within the data that has cylinder to be 6, okay? So we can go ahead and run it. So we can actually try to run the head and then see. So you can see that over here, all the cylinders are 6, 6, 6, 6. So it tells us that our data is what? We are focusing on the data with cylinder equals to 6, okay? Yeah. So in some cases, it might be, you might want to run analysis, for instance, maybe analysis that involve gender, maybe race and ethnicity, and you might want to select a specific race, or maybe you might want to select a specific gender group for your analysis. That's how you can actually use the filter function to actually select a specific group for your analysis, okay, by filtering out that group. Then also we can actually use the mutant function, the mutate function. And the mutate function, we can actually use it to create a new column, okay? We can create a new column with the mutate function. So for instance, we might want to create a new column a column in which we are actually going to calculate what is called the HP per cylinder, okay? So which is HP divided by the number of cylinder, okay? So now we are calling that data mutated data. So again, we go into our data set, and then using this particular function, it allows us to be able to now make use of the mutate function. And now we are calling our new variable HP underscore per underscore cylinder, okay? And now we said that should be equals to the horsepower divided by the number of cylinders, okay? And so now let us run it. Okay, so now let us look at the head of that data. So now you can see originally, if you look at the original data, we don't have the HP per cylinder. But now you've been able to include a new column, which is the HP per cylinder, by using some of the existing variable to perform a calculation to produce the HP per cylinder, which was the HP divided by the number of cylinders. And then also you can use the summarize function to actually get summary of some functions, okay? So for instance, let us look at, we want a summarized data, okay? So in the summarized data, we go into our data set, and then within our data set, you are going to use what is called a summarize function. In the summarize function, we are going to actually summarize by calculating the mean of MPG and then also the sum of HP. But then we are actually going to give them new names, okay? So we said the mean, we are storing the mean of MPG into here, what is called the mean underscore MPG. And we are storing the sum of HP into what is called the total HP, okay? So now we can go ahead and then run our line of code, okay? Yeah, now remember, we could have this one as a continuous and then it will still run, okay? But sometimes we just choose to bring it down here and then that should still run. So the fact that there is the second line of the code is still a continuous from the first line, okay? Okay, so now we can actually run our summarized data and then see. So now we can see the mean of MPG is what, 20.09, and then the mean of the total HP, which is horsepower, is what, 4694. Okay, and then you can also do some rearrangement of your data set. Okay, so for instance, assuming we want the data to be in descending order. Okay, we want to rearrange the data to be in descending order for a specific variable. Okay, so let's say we say arrange data. We go to our arrange data, and we are creating a new data called the arrange data. So we go to our empty cat data, which we name it data. And then now we use the function called arrange. Okay, arrange what? We want to arrange, and within the arrange function, we also have another function which is called descend, which is descending order. So we are using the function descending order. We want to find the descending order of HP. Okay, so with that, we are able to get HP from the highest to the lowest. Okay, so now we can go ahead and run it. Okay, so here's what we have, and then let us look at the head of the data set. So HP, you can see HP over here is starting from the highest all the way to the lowest, and it continues. But initially, you can see HP, you can see the HP variable here. But then when we introduce the arrange and descending function, now we are able to get HP in a descending order, which means the entire data set is now being what? Rearranged based on the descending order of HP. Okay, so this is how you can actually use the dplr package from the Tidyverse to be able to actually also perform some data wrangling, some data management in your analysis. So I will see you in another presentation. Thank you.